Hello and welcome to Ryno's Orioles Report. Last week saw very taxing week for the bullpen. 7 games, 4 games against the Angels, which the Orioles split, and road trip up to Toronto, which the Orioles swept. Sweeping the Toronto Blue Jays, that's great. Always love to see get a bunch of wins against a division rival. Puts you further up in the division standings. I think they're 2.5 games out of first place in the East. Anyway. All right, first off, Monday's game against the Angels. Might as well call it the Shohei Ohtani show. What was it? He had double. He was the double shy of the cycle this game. As you can see, Ohtani here, pitching / DH. Kind of a weird rule they came up with. If he's pitching, he can also DH, but if he gets taken off the mound, he can stay in at DH, which is weird. But it's also doesn't really do too much. So 5 for 4, 3 RBIs, triple, and a home run. But enough about him. He plays for the Angels. Grayson Rodriguez got the start. Hard to keep track of at this point. It has had so many starts, but I'm going to say that's probably his worst start. 3 1/3, 9 hits, 8 runs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts. So the week didn't get off to a very good start for the pitching staff. As Logan Gillespie comes in, 1 2/3, then both with an inning, Baker an inning, Coulomb with an inning, Bauman with an inning. Teo did get a stolen base. Frazier, Mullins, Santander did homer. You can see the Orioles put up 5 runs, which isn't too bad, but when your starting pitcher gives up 8 in 3 innings, not a whole lot you can do. Then while, yes, we use a lot of bullpen arms here, only 1 run to get 5 strikeouts. Gillespie struck out 1, Baker struck out 1, Coulomb struck out 1, Bauman struck out 2. Kind of odd that when I first saw Bauman come up and start pitching more as a starter and then transition to the bullpen, I'm like, wow, this guy's pretty soon he's going to be nowhere pitching. But he's really found a home here. I turned it around this season. So it's very, very enjoyable to see that. Don't really like seeing him lose, but it's enjoyable seeing somebody not make it as a starter, struggle a little bit as a reliever, and then turn it around and start having productive appearances for your team. Tuesday's game, Orioles won 7-3. Mr. Ohtani, this day was not his show. 0 for 4. On the other side, the more important side, not a whole lot of production by the top half of your lineup. Get down to the bottom, Mateo was slumping a little bit. He's definitely kind of hit more of a rut than as per to earlier in the season. To get 2 RBIs, Mountcastle got the night off, but of course he came in to pinch hit for O'Hearn, who had started off DHing. Mountcastle drove in 2. Oddly enough, O'Hearn is a somewhat minor player, but he's actually got pretty good production numbers as far as a guy that gets in 2 games, maybe a week, and a home run, and then got pinch hit for later in the game. lefty-righty matchup that Brandon Hyde is in love with playing at all times, whenever he can, which I certainly understand the logic in that. But at the same time, if you always pinch hit for a left-handed hitter and bring in a right-handed hitter, like say here with O'Hearn and Mountcastle, then how is O'Hearn ever going to learn to hit lefties? You take him out any chance you get. To a certain extent, I do think Brandon Hyde kind of micromanages a little too much. There have been times where he hasn't, but of course, in pitch hitting, right? You see Mountcastle, well, he got 2 hits. One of them, home run. So, yeah. Really validates my opinion, doesn't it? Thanks, Mountcastle. Way to make me look like an idiot. Dean Kramer got the start, 5 2/3. 6 hits allowed. Kind of high. 3 runs. That's pretty good. No walks. So you can deal with the 6 hits if you're not walking anybody, because still your whip is around 1. 4 strikeouts. Baker, only a third of an inning. Didn't have as great of an outing as he usually does. As you can see, he gave up 2 hits. Perez, Cano came in. Perez pitched 2 innings. Perez has been kind of struggling compared to what we saw from him last year. But I think this week was a little bit better for him. 2 strikeouts, 2 innings pitched, nothing given up, which is good. Cano closed the game out. Not a save, because we were up by 4. Oh, God, what is this? Wednesday? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Yes. Oh, and if I forgot to say, this is MassonSports.com. Orioles won this one, 3-1. Not a whole lot going on in here. You can see 3rd, 4th, and 5th inning, only 1 run scored. Hayes got a home run. Mullins has an RBI here. Mountcastle also with an RBI. Darren Vavra. He's back again. Stolen base. I can't remember how long he's been up. I guess that was more than a week ago they sent Sowers down. Bradish got to start here. 6 2/3. 4 hits, 1 run, 5 strikeouts. Fantastic outing by him. Coulomb, 1/3 of an inning in relief. And then, what does Ben McDonald call them? Twin Peaks or something. Like, as soon as I had my video where I said we got to come up with a name for this 2-headed monster, that's when they started talking about that on the broadcast, which is kind of funny. Cano and Batista an inning each, 2 strikeouts each. Batista did walk somebody. I don't know if it's, fatigue or whatnot with him, but I did notice Greg Olson was on the call over the weekend in Toronto, and he mentioned the same thing I was saying about Batista and holding a runner at second base, how he stares him down and then wants to start his motion, and in the middle of his motion, turn his head and pick up his target. It's not exactly something you want to do, because you want to have your target picked up. When you start your motion is going towards your target. I'm over here pointing and you can't see because my hand is way off the screen. If you're looking at your target, you want to go towards your target. If you're not looking at your target, are you going to go towards it? So I do think that is why he is sometimes wild. There are other reasons why he's wild too. Big long arms and stuff. All right, final game against the Angels. You see the Orioles lost this one 6-5. This would split the 4-game series. Kind of sporadic. They did. Orioles were shut down for the most part in the early part of the game. 3 in the fifth, 2 in the seventh to make it close. But they actually took the lead at one point in the seventh here, but then they gave it right back. Couldn't hold Ohtani down for long. Santander and Rutschman with home runs in this one. Santander and Rutschman both with 2 RBIs. Mountcastle with 1. Not getting too many stolen bases. Mateo is, you can see here, he's just not getting on bases much anymore. Tyler Wells started. 5 innings, 6 hits, 3 runs, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. So not as good of an outing as his last time, where he gave up much less runs. But you like to see the strikeout numbers up there. Bauman 2/3 of an inning in relief. 2 hits, 1 run, 1 walk. No strikeouts. Perez did give up the 1 hit, but 0 after that. So Baker, some of this is probably overuse with a lot of these pitchers. As you can see here, Baker, who had been pitching really well this whole season, you see him come in for 2 1/3 inning here, 1 hit, 2 runs, 2 walks. That was the 2 in the 8th inning here that gave up the lead. We haven't seen that from Baker too much this year, but I'm sorry. Well, they gave Baker the loss. Why does Voth have the blown save? That's interesting. I mean, if Baker gave up the runs, I don't know. I don't know how some of these stats go. I mean, if Baker already gives up, I mean, I guess they were on when Voth came in, and Voth let him in, technically. Since the runners were out there, I think they get charged to him and he gets a loss, but since Voth actually did the action, I think, anyway. Coulomb came in, stopped the bleeding, 1 1/3, did give up 2 hits, but 4 strikeouts. Turn to Toronto, north of the border, as they like to say. First game, 6-2 Orioles over the Blue Jays. As you can see, 3 spot here in the 3rd, 1 run in the 6th, 2 runs in the 9th. Insurance runs. You always like to have insurance runs. Yeah, Mountcastle. Here you go. Mountcastle, home run, 3-run home run. At least I'm pretty sure it was. Santander also drove in a run with, which was himself, home run. Frazier, also home run. Taylor got on bases, stole another one here. He was 4 for 1. He was one of the runs driven in, so that does help the run production. When you can get your fastest man on base and he can steal, puts more pressure on the defense and the pitcher, help get that run in. Gibson came in, much needed rest for most of the bullpen anyway. Cano and Batista pitched, but Gibson, 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Getting those 7 innings was big. I think if I remember the broadcast correctly, Brandon Hyde said in his post-game interview, Cano and Batista is really all he had, or really all that he wanted to use. Everybody else he wanted to, stay away from. Got his wish this time. Cano ends up with the hold, partly because he was pitching here in the bottom of the ninth, where it was a save situation, but Orioles got two more, so that's why no save for Batista. Cano pitched an inning. Yes, gave up. He is human, ladies and gentlemen. He is human. Gave up 2 hits, 1 earned run. I mean, it happens. Wasn't gonna have a scoreless inning streak for the whole year. Batista comes in the ninth. Yes, it wasn't a save situation, but it was fairly close. And as I said, manager Brandon Hyde didn't want to go to another arm. Batista 1 inning, 1 hit, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Second game in Toronto, 6-5 Orioles. Extra inning game. You like to see an organization like the Orioles turn this corner. Well, at least as an Orioles fan, you like seeing them turn the corner. So these other teams like the Blue Jays, who are also in somewhat of a rebuild and got some good draft picks like Bichette and Guerrero Jr. and signed free agents like Springer and Chapman. Actually, they've been spending more on free agents than the Orioles have. But you like to see them go head-to-head with some of these other AL East teams that are on the up and coming, or the turnaround, or however you like to say it. Close game, but finding ways to win. That's what I'm saying is marking the turning of a corner and becoming a good team. Mullins, O'Hearn, home runs. So this was... Orioles scored 1 run in the second and the third. Toronto scored 2 in the fifth, tied it up. Then 1 more in the sixth, 2 more in the seventh, which took the lead. This 3 spot here was O'Hearn hitting a home run. And as you can see, he drove in 4. Was the other one a sacrifice? It doesn't say if it was a sacrifice or not, because he only has 1. Oh, wait. No, he had 3 hits. There you go. Must have just been a base hit or something. It says 6 total bases, so home run is 4. The 2 are singles. But 2 out RBIs, 3 for O'Hearn. So here in the 8th inning here, 2 outs. So you like to see them get people on. And you're like, oh no, it's 2 outs. Oh no. Seems to be a trend with the Orioles, but you like to see one of their younger guys come up here and come up big for them. Grayson Rodriguez started this game, pitched much better this time. 5 innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. You like seeing the strikeout to innings pitched above 1. 4 hits, 1 walk. Yeah, I mean, that's 5. I mean, that's a whip of 1, which is pretty good. 2 runs, yeah, I mean, 5 innings. It was a really good pitch, well pitched game, because, I mean, the lineup that the Toronto Blue Jays put out here is very good. Springer, Bichette, Guerrero is your first 3. Then it's Brandon Belt, longtime San Francisco Giant. Alejandro Kirk was on the bench. Usually is kind of their catcher. I also got Kevin Biggio. I mean, to a certain extent, it's like a who's who. Oh, and then there's this guy, Down here, way at the bottom, Kevin Kiermaier. It's like, who were we facing? And Pilar was there making ridiculous catches in the outfield. I can't even remember. But it's like Pilar and Kiermaier. They make some of the greatest plays, and they're great outfielders. But I hate them because it seems like between those two, Kiermaier and Pilar, have been robbing Oriole hits and home runs and extra bases for, I don't know, 10 years. And I'm getting sick of it. You need to get these guys out of here. Go play in the National League West. Baker, Bauman, Irvin, Cano, Batista in relief. Orioles made some moves in the bullpen. As you may remember, I said Logan Gillespie got into a game earlier in the week here. You see Irvin getting in here. If I remember correctly, Gillespie sent down, Irvin brought up. Extra arm, you know. Baker gave up another run. So I think part of it is using him a lot. Just getting a little more tired than you would like. But 7 games this week, so. Bauman 2 1/3, 2 hits, 2 runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Cole Irvin pitched a third of an inning to give up a hit, but they got the out. And that would be all we see of him. For now, anyway. Cano and Batista, 2-headed monster again. Cano, 1 innings pitched, 1 hit. Batista, because the game went into extra innings, Batista got the 9th when it was tied. On the road, usually you want to use your closer. And then when the Orioles took the lead, they just left Batista out there. So, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, 5 strikeouts. I think this was the game because of the runner that's placed on second base, where Greg Olson mentioned that he noticed a thing where Batista starts his motion before he's picking up his target. He's looking at the guy at second base. This was yesterday's game, Sunday's game. Did go into extra innings. Yes, the Orioles beat the Blue Jays 8-3, but this game did go into extra innings. Went into the 11th inning. Each team put up 1 run in the 10th. The Orioles put up 5 in the 11th. Mullins, 3 RBIs. Taron Vavra, that guy again. 2 RBIs. Hayes, Santander, and Rutschman with 1 RBI apiece. You see that? Double, total bases, RBIs, 2 out RBIs, runners left in scoring position, double play, scoring position, left out there and stuff. No home runs. Did all this, no home runs. Mullins even stole and got caught stealing. Again, finding ways to win. O'Hearn got another opportunity. Didn't cash in this time. Joey Ortiz got in the game here with Arias still down. Ortiz had got in a few games over the weekend. Looks pretty good. I don't know where the hell he's going to play. Because you got Henderson out there. You got Teo. You got Frazier. You got Taron Vavra. They're still looking to get playing time. And when Urias comes back, and then also Joey Ortiz. It's nice to see they have an embarrassment of riches, but at the same time, well, can we get like another flamethrower in the bullpen or something? Or how about a good steady starting pitcher? Yes, I mean, I know for the most part the pitching, the starting rotation has done well, but still like to have that real solid, real good go-to anchor, a true ace. Gibson's pitched very well. Not sure if he's a true ace. Kramer started this game 5 1/3, 9 hits, 1 run. I don't know. 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. That would help, right? Double plays. Here you go. 3 double plays. McCann to Ortiz. McCann was catching. Wait. Strike him out, throw him out. That's right. Ortiz, Frazier, Mountcastle. Ortiz, Frazier, Mountcastle. So 3 double plays. So that helps when you give up 9 hits, getting a double play. Perez pitched 2/3 of an inning. Finished off the 6th for Kramer. 1 walk, but nothing else. Givens. Michael Givens back. This is what I meant by Cole Irvin wasn't around for long. Michael Givens coming back from a DL or IL or whatever the injured persons list. I don't know what the political correct term is. However, technically got a blown save. Sure. Came in the 7th and gave up a run. I guess that's technically... I'm not sure how you can blow a save in the 7th inning, but okay. This is what led to the Blue Jays tying. But at the same time, you did want to get Michael Givens in there. Kind of a shame that it had to be that high leverage of a situation. Of course, he ended up making it one because he put people on. So you can see 1 hit, 2 walks. Did get a strikeout, but he was here, 3-4 years ago? I can't remember. And he's been with Nationals, the Rockies, and another team in between then. I can't remember who. He's fairly the same. He is a converted infielder pitching. I think his leg kick turn, however, is a little calmer than it used to be. I think it was faster and more pronounced. It's a little slower now. Velocity, I think, is about the same. And really, this is him shaking off the rust. I mean, he was injured. Hasn't pitched that much this year, so hopefully we'll see him pitch better in the future appearances. Coulomb came in after Givens. This would be the 8th? It was the 6th inning and 7th inning and 8th. Yeah, okay. Did give up a walk. Zeros everywhere else. Voth pitched an inning in the 3rd. 2 hits, 1 run, though it was unearned. Who's the error on? Doesn't say who the error was. Wait. How can you have an on and a run, but there was no error? Well, I can't even remember what the hell happened there. Oh, was this in the 10th inning? Is that why? No, that wasn't the 10th inning. Oh, wait. Yes, it was. That was the 10th inning, and that was the man on second that came in because here's Voth with an inning and a 3rd, so he pitched the 9th and 1 out in the 10th. Bauman pitched 2 outs in the 10th and the 11th. Threw me off because, as you can see, Bauman. Didn't think Voth was in the 10th inning. Got 3 strikeouts, but did give up some hits along the way. But, what happened? How the hell? Okay, Bauman, 1 2/3, he got the win. Only 1 strikeout. Who? Oh God, what was it? They just kind of unloaded there in the 11th inning. remember. Fresh my memory is what happened. It was good. It was crazy. There we go, scoring. Go to the 11th inning. Yeah, okay, so McKenna was the extra runner here. Frazier singled. Austin Hayes singled. Gunnar Henderson singled. He really did single him to death. Not hitting home runs, but singling him to death, which is weird. Henderson to third. Wait, Terrence Bauer scored. Henderson scores. Okay. Well, more like Henderson scores, then Bauer scores. All right. Rick wrote that kind of out of order there. Yeah, they really did. They just kept singling him. Mountcastle did strike out. Frazier single. Hayes single. Gunnar single. Bauer single. Mateo did do a sacrifice fly, if you will. Mullins single. Rutschman intentionally walked, and McKenna grounds out. Well, it was fairly exciting at the end of the game, but they were all singles, so it was like one of those things where it was exciting, but it wasn't exciting at the same time. All right, let's talk about some of this stuff here in this article written by Steve Molesky. What was he talking about? The streaks. First sweep of an AL East opponent since taking 2 games against Toronto in 2002. Now, that was 2 games. So, first 3-game sweep against a division opponent since doing that to the Red Sox at Fenway in 2001. So it's been a while. I mean, yeah, it's kind of weird to talk about this one sweep, and how, all of these 4 bullet points are all talking about this one sweep. But first sweep of at least 3 games against Toronto in 2008, almost 5 years. Pretty good, right? That's what I'm talking about. More evidence towards this team is turning a corner. First road sweep of the Blue Jays, because you can see this one was at Oriole Park. First road sweep of the Blue Jays since a 3-game set at the Rogers Center in 2005. Kind of odd that it's been that long. Almost 20 years since they swept the Blue Jays in Toronto. Okay. What's the schedule looking like? They are off tonight. I do know that. Where are we at? And what is their record right now? Their record right now is 31-16. That's really good. Do kind of want to look at the standings here in a minute. Series in New York against the Yankees coming up. Woo. Garrett Cole will be pitching, which is always fun for the Orioles. At the Yankees on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, all 7 o'clock games. Then Orioles come home Friday, Texas Rangers, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Where are the standings? I want to look at the standings now. MLB standings. Yeah, see, here you go. 2.5 games behind Tampa Bay for first place. As you can see, no teams in the Central have 30 wins. No teams in the West have 30 wins. As far as, actually, well, you look at it here. Nobody in the National League has 30 wins, so the Orioles had the second best record in baseball, behind only the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Now that is why Major League Baseball decided to lessen the games played within a division. It's at least one of the reasons. I mean, you look at the American League East and how it's just stacked. Sure, you see the Yankees in Boston, they're in third and fourth place in the American League East, but it is also the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. So, alright, that's going to do it for me this week. Catch y'all in a week from now. Be sure to like and subscribe. I am the Angry Ryno, and this is Birdland.